Ladies and gentlemen, I'm basically making this video for people if you're in a relationship, or if you're one of those relationships that I'm about to talk about, like your first or your first few or the first one that's actually very serious, because that's how it was for me, you know? Don't make your relationship with the other person your whole life. You know the memes when they say like, oh, when bro gets in a relationship and you don't see him for months? That's what I'm talking about, right? Cool. I was a CEO of doing that. That was me at one point. You understand? You wouldn't rationalize in that moment the time that you give to your friends and family because you're fully focused on that relationship. And this is especially if you've never had a proper serious connection with someone or a serious relationship with someone. So I wish I kind of had someone to tell me this kind of stuff before. I obviously did not. And the thing is, even if I did, and even if you're that person listening to this now and this is you, it doesn't really change much even listening to this or thinking about it. But never underestimate the power of planting a seed. So pretty much I just want to make this video to talk and tell people about relationships and stuff and what it is that we can get ourselves into. Yeah. So for a lot of people, right, when they enter their first serious relationship, it's a bit intense, and it's crazy because they've never had that sort of connection with anyone before. And a lot of the time people don't really expect to go into them how they do and to end up where they do with that person, which is why they invest and spend so much time with them. But there's a very big danger in that. Firstly, it's what I mentioned, like we see it on the outside with like the memes of like, oh, your friend disappearing when he gets in a relationship. You have to bear in mind this, right? Your friends, your brothers and sisters that people that we call friends, you know, we have blood that's family that isn't blood. So a lot of the time when I say friends, what I'm really meaning is like your brothers and sisters that you don't share blood with, but they're still your siblings. People go crazy in relationships. I didn't really go too crazy. I did at some point. Like I said, this definitely was me. So I'm 100% talking from experience. Probably gonna find somewhere to sit over here, and it's peak because this is a bit wet here, but it's peak because for a lot of the time you go throughout life and you're thinking like, oh, I'm probably just gonna be single for a while, and it's always when you least expect it. You get in a relationship with someone, and when you do get in that relationship with that person, it's a bit intense. Like I said, you never been in that type of relationship. You never had that sort of connection with that person. So what happens is, can I place this here? Okay, cool. So what happens is you pretty much slowly, in a relationship, naturally anyways, two people become one, okay? Now, the danger in not rationalizing and not thinking about spending your time or giving your time to your friends and your family as well. A lot of people get into a relationship and forget that they have family, forget important events, forget birthdays, forget celebrations, forget this and forget that, and everything becomes about themselves and the other person that they're in a relationship with. Thankfully, I never went that deep off into that hole, but it is certainly a hole, and every time we dig that hole thinking we're not digging. We thinking, oh, we're doing more loving, we're getting to know this person more. So be very mindful of the amount of time that you spend with your partner if this is your first, second or third kind of like serious relationship, because a lot of the time, and I've seen this in friend circles and my own friends as well, you don't realize how much time you give to your partner because you're you're a bit blind. It's not like you're blind in a bad way. It's like you're blinded with love and you're blinded with this attraction, this chemistry. And a lot of people would say it's not even love, you know. And I can agree with that. I can certainly agree with that because a lot of the time, what I thought was love was not love. To be connected and to be attached are two very different things. And something that I kind of want to move towards is being someone that's connected but not attached. A lot of the time we form these bonds like ionic and covalent bonds in science, and they don't allow us to live a healthy way, okay? When you're in a relationship with someone, the one thing you must ask yourself is, what are you doing with the time that you spend with that person? A lot of the time people are in relationships and one person more than the other will like sex, one person more than the other will like to have their own free time. And I see this so much. Like, people lose their jobs, people lose their focus in life, and their relationship becomes everything. They're almost like manic. They're in a state of mania. They're in a state of delirium with that person. They're so fascinated by that person. They have so much love for that person. But actually, hold up. If you were supposed, if you was working properly, and that's a bit of a interesting statement, but if you was functioning properly, you'd realize that actually all this love that I'm able to give the other person was, number one, already in me, and number two, I should be dividing this time into doing other stuff. Not only just the relationship, not only just me giving all my time on my phone and everything to this person. And that's another thing, is how we spend time with the amount of time that we give people now is even more dangerous because we have phones. Every time we hop on a phone, we text that partner that we have, and then boom, it's right there. And then they send a text back, and then we send it. It's super easy nowadays to get lost in relationships. So fucking easy. But the one thing that I realize is what I said already. All that love, all that vavavoom that you're able to give the other person in a relationship, you're also able to give yourself. The thing is you have not found a channel to give yourself that love and that attention and that care and that reciprocity when it comes to being who you are. So I feel like this only happens with people that have not truly found their purpose. And some people are lucky enough to find their purpose, but still choose to ignore it, still choose to not go fully through and in it. And I'd philosophically discuss, have you truly found it? Because I think someone who's truly found their purpose and their calling and whatever it is that they want to do in life, they would never swap out the time of their friends, of their family, of their work, of their job, of their career, of their calling, of their passion for someone in this world, especially in this world. Now that might sound like a lot and very self-centered and egocentric, but it's true, guys. When you are in a relationship with someone, if you notice that you're giving more and more and more time to that person, right? And you're no longer, and like I said, you're no longer giving the same amount of time as you were to your friends and to your family and to everything else, then you got to really check up on it. Now, obviously, as someone who is your partner, right, comes into your life, and if you're taking them seriously, as I as I hope, as I presume you would be, what would happen is you naturally give more time to them and less time for other things, okay? But what I'm saying here is look at where the fuck your time is going. Don't just aimlessly, oh, I'm just going to give all my time here and give time there. Oh, maybe I'll spend this time. Take a good second to think about, is it worth missing out this event to be here or to be there? Is it worth, like, that's a question you really have to ask, and you can only really find out if you're in a relationship yourself. And a lot of the time I was in a relationship and I was not thinking about the time that I would swap, that I would be with my friends, that I would be with my mother, that I would be with my family, so on and so forth. And it flies by so quick. And it's not to say that we should do this because all relationships are going to end anyways. It doesn't matter if it ends or it doesn't end. Whether you guys stay together or together for a month or for a lifetime, the same thing applies. You cannot put someone else in front of your passion, in front of your calling, and in front of your friends and family who, regardless of what happens to your relationship, they'll always be there. And this happens so much in friendships, guys. Some people get in a relationship, negate the fact that they have friends. They want to negate the fact that they do not spend enough time with them. And they know they don't. Deep down, they know they don't. Even I knew I didn't. But guess what happens? Still, people choose to go and not spend the same amount of time as they used to. So be aware that there is some change that happens within your timing in relationships. Be aware that yes, your schedule will change, and that's natural. That's completely normal. I'm not saying that's not normal. But what I am saying is, if you start to notice that you're putting too much time in a relationship and you don't give things space in a relationship to grow, because let's be honest, guys, space and silence is the foundation for everything that we are able to experience. And the purpose of life itself is to experience, and to experience everything and its good and its bad. And we only title it good and bad because we're very subjective and objective creatures. But it's true, guys. When we give ourselves time to clock this and to realize and to be like, hey, you know what? I probably shouldn't be doing this. I probably should give things not more space, out of a bad way, like, oh, I need space for you or from you. when you allow that silence between you and that person that you're in a relationship with, the partner, like I'm saying, you notice that things get so much better and so much easier. And this especially applies for you anxious attachment peoples. Anxious attachers are like myself, like how I kind of used to come out in certain relationships. I remember being anxious attached in one relationship not long ago, and it would be interesting the amount of time that you're able to find to give people, and then you ask yourself why certain things in life aren't where you want them to be, because you haven't been giving yourself the time. You haven't been giving yourself that. So it's very insightful when you get in a relationship, you realize, hold up, I actually have a lot of time. I actually have not only a lot of time, number one, I have a lot of power when it comes to controlling where and who I give my energy to. I hope this video has helped you guys, because a lot of people in relationships lose their friends, lose their connection to their friends. It's not the same anymore, and it becomes a bit stale, okay? And when that person ends up leaving them, or they leave that person, quickly they realize that their friends and family have been looking at them like, well, we was here this whole time. You didn't have to ignore us. You didn't have to push us away as much. You didn't have to, and that's something that I myself realized on a small scale, not really on a large scale. I can't be saying that I was one of those people in full effect, but at one point I definitely was, and I realized that, and I was like, "Ooh, this is not a good, it's not a good thing, guys. It's really not a good thing." Because you have friends and family that will kill someone for you, that would do anything for you. They're literally your blood, and some of them aren't your blood, but they act as if they are your blood, and it's a very close connection. And a lot of the time, psychologically, what it is in a relationship that we're looking for is comfort and security. And because we already find that within our friends and family most of the time, or some of the time, finding that within a whole nother person is like, you have to be friends with the lady or the man that you're gonna go and sleep next to and eat next to and shit next to and wake up next to. Be friends with them first. Learn how to give them time, energy, and love as a friend before you give them all of that as a partner. Okay, guys? If you can't be friends with the lady you're dating, if you can't be, really cool with them on a friendship level, then I don't know, because a lot of people skip that. They skip the point where two people are down to earth friends, and then they become lovers. And there's a bridge to be built from yourself to someone else as a friend, and then from that person, there's another bridge to be built as friends into lovers. Now, you can be getting romantically involved with someone and not really realize that, but those two are more or less built at the same time. Obviously, the friendship one is built first. I just want to make sure that the friendship one is fully within finished construction before the lovers one is finished. So they can be built at the same time. They can be starting to be built at the same time. But I'd want to ensure I know that person on a human level. Because a lot of the time when we get in relationships, we want to uphold the image. We want to make ourselves look like someone and act like someone. But 2, 3, 4, 5 months down the line, you find out exactly who they are. And that's what they call the end of the honeymoon phase, right? When people are in a relationship, all the love, fun, bubbly stuff finish. And then what? You see something real, man. You deal with some wicked parts of the psyche. You know what I'm saying? And you it's uncomfortable, because you still have love for that person, you still have care for that person, but what the fuck can you do about that? When you start seeing their ugly parts, if you guys aren't working on that as a couple and as a people and trying to maintain that relationship as healthy as possible, time to reconsider things. Anyhow, I hope this video has helped some people. Maybe you guys have realized that this is you, or this used to be you, or you can simply relate to this. I don't know. However, go and follow my Instagram page. I also have like an online school where I teach things about this stuff and related to this stuff. And it's a quite interesting time that we're in, not only astrologically speaking, but we're certainly going to see more and more relationships come out of a caring and more empathetic way. At least I hope. So if you guys have enjoyed the video, like, comment, maybe don't like, maybe don't comment, and maybe don't subscribe. But regardless, one thing you must do is think and devise your time, because so many people have lost great friends and greater partners simply because they give too much energy to things and people outside of themselves.